Let me ask a question here real quick. Have you ever crushed a board meeting, or maybe you served a client and you did it hungover with a smile while literally dying inside? Like, you don't even know how you're going to get through the day. I've definitely been there. Different job sites, different jobs, different clients, different things back in the day. Hiding vodka in a protein shaker or a Yeti tumbler. Like, it was just part of the morning routine. And man, it's literally exhausting. It's exhausting. And there's another way. There's definitely another way. And I love seeing the momentum of the sober community and how it's just growing like crazy. And so many people are figuring out that, hey, I don't have to live with alcohol running my life. No matter what society says, the normalcy bias of it, I can be free from it. And when you're free from it, you maximize all the other things in your life, whether it be your business, whether it be running your team, if you're a CEO or you own a company, or you're a father, you're a husband, you're just a dude trying to do the best that you can. When you cut that crap out, man, it makes a world of difference. So if you're new to the show, like I said, I'm Shane Raymer. I've been doing this work and the podcast since 2014. I'm a former professional alcohol connoisseur, turned sober coach for CEOs, athletes, entertainers, business owners, all who are tired of numbing out and not being at that high performing level that they want to be. And instead they're at that low level or at that media core level, and they kind of don't know which way to do. And the coping tool that is commonly so used, that I hear from so many different guys out there, is alcohol. And so we're going to talk about how quitting alcohol doesn't just, it doesn't take away the edge. It actually sharpens it. And if you want to feel more clear, you want to feel more connected, and maybe you're even just fired up, like you're listening to this today. You're like, man, I found this podcast, and man, I want to get fired up about life. I want to get fired up about my business again. I want to tell you that you're in the right place. If you want to connect deeper after this episode, be sure to stick around. I'll tell you a little bit more about our free Sober Guy men's community, the Victory Circle, and then also how you could work one-on-one with me and put a 90-day plan together to help you kick the alcohol and get back to that top high-performing level that you know you should and can be at. So let's start with this first point here, the myth of high functioning. Maybe you've heard that before. High functioning. Oh, he's very high functioning. You even hear that in the alcohol. I'll just say maybe the 12-step community, or different communities, I guess. High functioning alcoholic. You might even just hear a family member say that. Oh yeah, Uncle Bruce, man. Uncle Bruce, he's a high functioning alcoholic. And let me just say, it's not really high functioning. It's actually high tolerance. And there's a huge difference in that. Alcohol becomes just a part of life. And we've probably seen so many people, or maybe we've experienced that, or we're experiencing it ourselves. It's so normalized. The wine with dinner, the bourbon after hours, the beer after, in the garage after a long day's work. Maybe it's even the airport mimosa at 7 a.m. to get the ball rolling, or a little coffee and whiskey, whatever it is, man. Society gives successful people, and just people in general, a pass on drinking, because it's just what you're supposed to do. And I'm telling you, it's not, and you don't have to. There's another way. So let me frame this up real quick. You're closing deals, you're serving your clients, you're scaling revenue, you're leading teams, but on the inside, you're tired, you're short fused, you're anxious at 2 a.m., restless sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, and maybe you're using drinks to deal with it all, to deal with the stress, to decompress, maybe even to sleep. And that can be really, really tough. So what's missing? Well, I'll tell you what's missing in that: peace, community, connection, sleep that actually helps you to recover just in general. Alcohol masks problems, and it gives you this kind of fake sense of like, man, I got this. But you're not actually fixing anything in the long run. It's just putting a Band-Aid on it. And I remember myself feeling like that so much too. I got this. I'm not as bad as that guy. I can handle this. I don't need to talk to anybody about this. I don't need to quit. I'm just going to cut back. I'm just going to drink wine. I'm just going to drink on the weekends. All of that stuff is short-lived in so many guys that I talk about. And I can tell you 100% from my own experience, it's so short-lived. It never, ever worked. Like I said, you're not fixing the problems. You're just putting a Band-Aid on it and trying to mask it. So think about this, like you've mastered managing chaos, right? So let's just like, I want you to think about that for a second. Like, man, you got all these things to do. You're a CEO or a business owner or a leader in your company, whatever it is. You're a dad at home. You're a husband. You're a coach. You got all these things going on in life, and it's like chaos. And a lot of the time it could even be a lot of good things. Like I have a ton of great things in my life, but man, it seems so chaotic sometimes. And I remember before I quit drinking, it was tenfold chaos because it wasn't a lot of good things. It was just a lot of like literal chaos. And I did not know how to manage it. I thought I did. I was trying to, but I didn't have one thing. And I'll tell you, sobriety, that one thing that it helps create is clarity and a little bit of peace and a lot of joy. Even in the hard times, we get to feel, and that takes work. It's, it's tough sometimes. The work is so important, and opening up is the first step in that. So let's talk about how alcohol is the ultimate performance killer, because I think there's some myths around this that we think alcohol makes us better. I know I did. I thought it made me better. It didn't. It made me worse. It made me slow. It made me lethargic. I wasn't up to speed and living the life that I wanted to live and that God intended me to be the person that God intended me to be as well. So sleep quality. Let's start there. Let's start with sleep. And it's such an important thing, and it's often overlooked. I remember I had a client, was it last year, I think? And sleep was like a top priority for him. He tracked all of his sleep. And it was a huge part of him staying away from the alcohol and getting better sleep, which led to better performance at work, at home, in all things. Alcohol disrupts the sleep cycle. Like you might pass out, but you're not actually resting. You're not sleeping. That you passed out. It's different. You're almost in a dream state in a sense. That wrecks decision making. It wrecks your patience. You don't have any patience. You're irritated. It messes with your memory. It messes with your focus. You're not on point. If we're not getting great sleep every night, it's, and I understand, like sometimes I'm not saying I get great sleep every night. I don't. Some days I might be rolling on 5.5, 6 hours of sleep, just, depending on what is going on. But being that I'm not hungover and bogged down with alcohol in my system and feeling like crap, I can make adjustments to that when it happens, and I can still function pretty well. But if we're hungover and then on top of that, or if we're drinking and then we're hungover and then on top of that, we're trying to get good sleep and stuff too, man, it's going to wreck all those things, and it's going to lead to chaos in the brain, in the body, and in your experience day in and day out. How about your brain? Alcohol slows down the prefrontal cortex of your brain. And this is the part that handles risk. It handles the long-term vision, goals, emotional regulation. Like you need this part of your brain firing on all cylinders at all times, not, drowning it out in a gin and tonic or a 12-pack after work or, whatever that looks like. You have to have that part of your brain on point. And if it's slow and it's not performing correctly because you're hungover or you're constantly in this state, it's going to have a lot of effects on your day-to-day work you do, your day-to-day responsibilities as a dad, as a husband, and just running your life and being productive. How about hormonal damage? Check this one, man. This is a huge one for a lot of guys. Your testosterone drops and your cortisol spikes. Inflammation, bloating, all that stuff, man. It's not only it doesn't look great, it's also super uncomfortable. You don't feel well. It's hard to play with your kids maybe, or go out and even play around at golf. Maybe it's just, you're a lot. And if you're working out, but still drinking often, you're basically pedaling the gas and the brake at the same time. It's counterproductive. It just doesn't, it's not going to do anything for you. It's like that old thing they say too, like you can't out train a bad diet, and it's kind of similar. Everything has to be in line, in the same sequence, like an engine, man. It's running smooth. How about your gut and your mood? Like, are you moody? Do you like those two things tie together? Alcohol is toxic to the gut lining. It directly affects your mood, your immunity, and really importantly, your serotonin production. So let me kind of translate that for you real simple here. You feel like crap and you think you're like, oh, I'm burned out. I'm just burned out. But it's literally like a booze biology. You're not. You're just sluggish and slow because it's affecting all those things in your system, your gut. And the serotonin is a huge one. You get used to that. And it's really, really hard to break that cycle if you're consistently in it. It's a lifestyle thing, just like being sober is a lifestyle. And then how about the business aspect of this? Like, would you let one of your team members, or maybe your CFO, or somebody who is like a lead on your crew, whatever that looks like for you, maybe it's just your coworker at work. Would you be excited to have them sleeping like 4 hours a night and then operating like 60% focus and still trust that they're going to do their job well? They're going to hit those numbers. They're going to keep you safe if you're doing something that is a dangerous line of work. That's the type of stuff that separates, well, I guess that they'd say that's what separates the men from the boys. But we think about like, wait a minute, I'm a man if I, drink bourbon and that's just what I do. I'm manly and we talk shit and we do whatever and we work hard. And man, that's an old way of thinking. It just is. It's not like people are waking up to the fact that like alcohol is a depressant. And it's meant to subdue us. It is meant to keep us in a state of disconnection between our creator, between something higher, between finding our true self. And this life is short. We don't have a lot of time here. It goes by really, really fast. And so we want to maximize all that we can. It's not just about making money either. Like a lot of, oh man, it's money. I made more money. Like money's great, but we don't take any of that with us when we die. It's about the experience, and we want to be at the best level possible. Sure, go make a ton of money. I love that. Give a lot of it away if you can, but have some time in this short time that we're here to really enjoy life. And that's what sobriety can give you, a sober mind. And it just enhances the experience as we start to sit in it and make it a lifestyle. And in turn, it enhances our marriage. It enhances our ability to be fathers. It enhances our businesses, the work that we do, which all lead to great things down the road. So why is being sober? Why is sobriety a CEO superpower? I just use the term CEO because maybe you're a CEO and you're listening to this, of course, but also from a leadership perspective as well. A lot of business owners are obviously leaders. They lead a team of people to help run and grow their businesses and provide a great service or a great product or whatever that looks like. So here's the thing. When you cut alcohol out, your decision-making improves. You got a clear head, and a clear head equals more clients, better deals, more discernment, less emotional reactions. You're not as volatile, not as stressed. Like, and I'm not saying that there's not times where you're going to be stressed, but you learn how to handle that stress with productive, positive tools versus just numbing out and turning to, even after a long day, if you're not drinking during, you don't have to be drinking during the day, but it's at the end of the day, you were stressed all day and you're waiting to have those couple cocktails after work so you could relax. You don't have to do that with a sober mind, with a sober lifestyle, because you learn how to deal with that stuff in the moment, and you take up other hobbies, you do other things, you have communities, maybe you have a coach, you have a mentor, you have a friend that you talk about this stuff with, you have a sober community around you as well. And that just helps to solidify that foundation and make it that much better. So there's no more wondering like, man, was I drunk when I sent that email? I can't even remember. Like, did I talk to that client? Did I have an attitude? Did I have a bad attitude? Is that client going to call me back now? Did I mess something up? Why did I do that? You don't have any of that stuff. And that, it's those little things, they add up over time, and we stuff them in the back of our brain and we try to forget about them, and they snowball. They snowball, and then we drink more and we drink more, and they snowball, and then they're there, and then another one, and then another one, and then we drink more. And it's a cycle that is absolutely, I'm getting exhausted just talking about it. It's absolutely exhausting. And people ask me a lot. I'll say, hey, what was the one thing that, that got you sober in the end, like at that last point when you finally decided to make some changes? And, there was quite a few different things, my marriage, my daughter at the time, my job. I also had a really bad feeling that something really bad was going to happen if I didn't make some changes. But the one thing that I always say is, man, I was exhausted. I was literally exhausted, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I knew God had a bigger plan for my life. And I'm confident when I say that he's got a bigger plan for your life too. If you are listening to this and you're stuck in this type of cycle and don't look for the differences, look for the similarities. Your story is not going to be exactly like mine, and vice versa, and everyone else out there. But we all have a lot of these things in common for the most part. When you start to listen to people's stories and what they've been through. So while else, let's move on here to, the superpower thing. How else can it help you? More time and energy. And I mean, that's huge. The time of the day flies by. I can't tell you how many times I look at the clock and I'm like, man, it's already like 3:30 and I've just been going all day. And I feel like I've gotten a lot done, but I feel like I haven't gotten anything done because there's just so much stuff going on, and it's already 3:30. Like, time flies without alcohol and those recovery cycles that you have to go through to get back. I mean, it could take days. Some guys, as we start to get in our late 30s, 40s, 50s, man, it takes days to recover from that. And when you cut it out, you start to reclaim that time. You start to get some of those evenings back, those weekends, those mornings. You feel better. You're not sluggish on Monday morning. You're not feeling like crap. You don't have a bad attitude. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to put the mask on. You're actually dominating. You're killing it. You're crushing it because you're your true, authentic self, and you can be on point. On point. How about emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence, it actually starts to rise up. You start to get a little smarter. You don't make as dumb of decisions. You don't say as stupid stuff and then not remember. Well, I shouldn't say that. I still say stupid stuff often, but that's just because, that's me, and we're dudes and we do that sometimes. And my wife is very quick to correct me on that, which is fine. But speaking of that, you actually hear what your spouse is saying, or you actually hear the feedback that your team is giving you because you're on point. You connect, you listen, you stop reacting and you start responding. Huge difference. And that's one of the first things I remember learning, when I got sober, was just like the difference between an emotional reaction and a response. See, a response takes thought. It takes the ability to control your emotion and not be overwhelmed with anger or stress or any number of those emotional things that we can feel in a moment like that. And you learn to pause, you learn to breathe, you learn yourself, how you feel inside, how to regulate that. And it's absolutely huge. And it does bring an emotional intelligence rise. We'll just put it like that. So you stop reacting and you start responding. That's such a huge one. I love this next one, authentic confidence. Authentic confidence. So alcohol gives us like a false sense. They call it liquor courage. If you ever heard that too, that's old school stuff from the Bay Area. At least that's the first thing I heard of it. I think it was E40, that liquor courage. You got that liquor courage. And it's true. It gives us this false sense of courage that we can do anything. And that's not real confidence. It's not authentic. It's temporary and it's fake. Sobriety builds real confidence. It builds an authentic self. And you earn it by facing the hard stuff in life that God throws at us sometimes, sober, not numbing your way through it and trying to escape. And that's a huge one. And I want to be aware, and I want to say this, I understand the want and the need and the desire and the hurt and, the just going through life stuff and wanting to escape. So I'm not knocking on it. If that's you right now and you're sitting there, you go, man, yeah, fucking, you're kind of beating yourself. Like, dude, I get it. This life is freaking difficult, man. It's hard. There's a lot of crap that we deal with as men on a daily basis. And so I get it. It's so easy just to grab a bottle and escape through it. And even after, I'm coming up on 12 years in September, I have those moments. Man, it'd be nice to just freaking let loose and escape right now. But like, I don't want to do that because I don't ever want to go back to that life, number one. But I also have the tools and I have community and I have people and I have a great support system around me where I can talk about this stuff and I kind of understand self. That goes back to that authentic self. So that authentic confidence comes with it, and I was a kid too, who did not have a lot of confidence. I lacked confidence growing up. I was very, very hard on myself. I always say like, I'm my own worst enemy. Like there's nobody harder on myself than me. And confidence is a tricky thing. And we all get beat down a little bit sometimes, man. Our confidence, our ego takes a hit as dudes. Like it's common. It's normal. We're human beings. It's going to happen. But the more reps we put in and the longer we stay away from drinking, the more authentic confidence we build. And it gets better and better, which turns over to being better in business, to being better leaders, to being better with our families, all that stuff, man. And it's a huge, huge difference. And then plus two, like there's no more $300 bar tabs for networking, right? Like real networking. Like now, when you get sober, that looks like coffee at 6 a.m. or, hey, let's go for a run. Like, let's get together and go to the range real quick and hit some balls. Let's play a round of golf sober. I don't quit anymore at the 13th hole because I'm hammered. Like, I don't have to do that. No hangovers, just great ideas. And, maybe a pulled hammy here and there, depending on what you're doing. You're mountain biking, you're running marathons, you're deadlifting, whatever it is. But like, man, that is way better than being hungover every day. So how do we start? Like, what are some next steps here? Maybe you're asking that or you're thinking that. Like, man, I hear from a lot of guys, like, I don't even know where to start. Like, where do I begin? First of all, don't overthink it. Okay. Don't overthink it. Don't start letting that hamster wheel that we used to call it the committee up in the head, right? You got like 6 people on the committee up there, this, that, the other, do this. No, don't do that. Do this. Like our brains, the mind has a mind of its own. I think I talked about that in last week's podcast or the one before. Learned that from Noah Levine in Refuge Recovery. He'd always refer to it as the mind because it's powerful. It's like its own entity. And we hear all these different thoughts and, It's the one good thing though, they're thoughts. And when we learn how to regulate them and manage them, we don't have to act on those thoughts, and we don't have to beat ourselves up for having those thoughts sometimes. So don't overthink any of this. Okay. And maybe you don't have to commit like, oh my God, I got to quit forever. If that scares like the shit out of you right now, then you don't have to commit to that. But maybe you're starting with 30 days. Maybe you're starting with 60 days. Maybe you want to do 90 days to see what your mind, what your body, and what your spirit can actually do without alcohol. Most men are actually, they're shocked by how good they feel like around like 3 weeks in, like they're coming up on 30 days, and they always say that 21 days is like the range or the standard to create a new habit. Do it for 21 days. It'll become a habit. I talk to a lot of dudes who are like coming up on 30 days, like, man, I feel really good. I feel better. My skin looks better. I feel more energy. I don't feel lethargic. I feel like I am starting to sit into who maybe I am, or who I want to be, who I want to grow into. So like commit to a break like that. I think that's kind of the point there. So what does that break look like for you? Is it 10 days? Is it 30 days? Is it 60 days? Is it 90 days? Like if it's, like I said, if it scares you to think, oh my, I can't ever do it. How am I going to like just break it down to the chunks? I promise you, if you get some time, you probably won't want to go back because there's just no point in it. Like I always say, I've still never heard from anybody who said my habitual drinking habits have really improved my life. Like I haven't heard it. So commit to a break, make that commitment, write it down, post it up next to your bed, post it up on your bathroom mirror, tell somebody about it. And that goes into the next one, telling someone. Accountability makes it real. And that's a tough one for people. They hide it. I hid it for a long time. People knew, but they didn't also know what was going on up here. That committee up there driving me mad, still making bad decisions. And I didn't want to tell anybody about it. I felt weak. I felt like it was, I felt like I wasn't as bad as some people are. I also was scared I wasn't going to be able to function without alcohol. Like, how am I going to go to a wedding? How am I going to go to a birthday party? How am I going to go to a dinner? How am I going to deal with feelings? How am I going to deal with feelings? And so I didn't want to tell anybody. This isn't like sobriety is not a solo game. You need somebody to call you out and call you to connect with you, or you have them to call if you're going through something. Like the accountability piece in this is huge. It's absolutely huge. It's one of the biggest parts. So if you tell somebody, it makes it real. If you talk to somebody about it, that kind of takes that next step for you. So that's a huge one. And then another one, like a lot of this stuff is about routines or rituals. You don't have to just remove it cold turkey. You quit, but what are some replacements? What are some alternatives? What are some different routines that you can do to still make it fun, to still feel like a man? Like I'm still, man, I'm like, I promise you'll feel like more of a man after you get through a little bit of time too. You'll be like, damn, well, I was missing this. This is great. Like even Joe Rogan talked about that recently. Joe Rogan quit drinking recently. And I had an article, somebody sent it to me. I reposted it on our Instagram at That Sober Guy podcast. And he was talking about like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, why am I basically putting poison in my body? Like it's not benefiting me in any way. Like it's not doing any positive things in the long run. And so he quit. And I think so many dudes out there are starting to see that. And I love to hear Joe Rogan talking about that now because he has such a massive audience and he's such a big influence on so many men out there and women, of course, too. But I think the majority of men see that and they go, man, he's a masculine dude, like does jujitsu, got a hugely successful podcast and UFC and, and he's not drinking. Like, so he must be on to something there. And I'm telling you, he is. And we all are who have taken this sobriety, sober mind lifestyle, and ran with it. And it feels great. It really does. And it takes a little bit of time. It's tough. It's not always easy, but in the long run, it's definitely worth it. So back to the routine thing though. You don't just, you don't just have to remove it. You kind of replace it. So what does that look like for you? You can do walks. A lot of people are into the cold plunge thing, right? You can write, you can read, you hit the gym. Like fitness is a huge one for so many guys. Like they replace, they want to get in shape too. And there's dudes who drink and are still in shape, I guess, but they're not at the level that they could be with the alcohol. So what is it that you could do to replace those habits, those routines? And what I like to tell a lot of guys that I work with and in the community and just that I talk with is you have to find something that you really enjoy to do. And what I love to do is tap into something that we did as a kid or that you did as a kid. And I'll use the example of skateboarding. I used to love skating as a kid. And as I got older and started going down a different path, I didn't skateboard anymore. And then I got into my 20s and I was trying to figure it out. And you're working and you're doing all the things. And you don't do those things that you used to do. Now, man, we live really close to a skate park. As a matter of fact, my son rode his bike to school. He rides it pretty much every day. Weather's getting nice. And I said, hey, bud, I'm going to skate with you to school today. He's like, oh, yeah. He was all pumped, made me all pumped. So I skate with him to school. And we skate over to the skate park, skate for a little bit. He's riding his bike and and then skate home. And doing that, it gives you that sense, that childlike spirit. It brings back that fulfillment of feeling free and feeling like yourself. Because as kids, we are free most of the time. I know some of us had really rough upbringings, different environments. I totally get that. But I think that almost everyone could probably find something that they enjoyed to do as a kid. And so that could be something to kind of swap out. Like I'm going to quit for 30 days and I'm going to take up mountain biking again, or I'm going to take up, golf again. I'm going to go to the range, or I use golf a lot because I love to play golf. And I think I've been to the range like 5 times this last week after work. And that's my time. Like that's one of the things I do. Also, I go, and as a matter of fact, Jess came out with me yesterday and I set a little chair up for her. She hung out. She doesn't really play golf yet. She's starting to kind of be interested in it, I think. And we just hung out. It was so nice out. Just enjoyed some sun, hit a bucket and a half of balls, talked a little bit, and just really enjoyed ourselves and relaxed. And then, we got some food and I didn't have a hangover the next day because I wasn't drinking, man. I don't have to do that anymore. Neither do you. All right. So replacing those routines. Another really, really important thing is to track those wins. So like if you heard at the beginning of the episode, I gave a shout out to my buddy Dave, who I'm working with right now, who's got 30 days as this will go live on Friday, and super proud of him. And I told him in our just most recent coaching call, like, dude, celebrate that tomorrow. Like celebrate it, man. Like go do something fun, do something with your wife, or, just take some time to really sit in that and celebrate 30 days. And he's had 30 days before in the past. So this isn't like the first time, but it's a new time. It's a new path. And so track your wins and celebrate them, man. Like that's so huge. If you get 10 days, if you get 20 days, 30 days is a great milestone. Some of the other things that you might want to track: your sleep, your energy, your clarity, your patience. So like keep a log. You can get yourself a little journal and start to log that stuff and go back. Okay, man, like, look, yeah, on day 7, I was feeling like this, but man, look at this on day 18, man, I'm feeling way better about that. And you start to see, like, you have to be able to track your wins along the way and kind of see where you were at and where you came to. I'll give you a good example of this. That's really a simple one. If you were trying to lose weight, you step on a scale, let's say you weigh, 215, and you're like, damn, I really want to get down to like 195, right? Well, if you're just doing stuff and you're not weighing yourself and tracking like where you're at, how are you going to know if it's actually working? How are you going to know if you're actually losing weight? No. So you step on your 215 and then Maybe you work out for that week, and at the end of the week, day 7, you go back and you weigh yourself, and hopefully, man, hey, shoot, I'm down to 212 now or 210, depending on what your routine and lifestyle looks like. So you have to track that stuff if you want to be able to have some success and see the progress that you're making, because that is so important. And I'll say it's not about perfection. It is about progress. So don't beat yourself up if you mess up for a day or something doesn't go your way or it's not working out exactly. Just move forward, keep moving forward, because in the long run, it will pay off. Okay. So we went over tracking the wins. This is another good one too. The morale here. Like, what does your morale look like? That can be tough sometimes. And like I mentioned, being my own worst enemy, and maybe some of you are out there like that going, yeah, shit, that's me too, man. I'm like so hard on myself, man. Just laugh. Just learn to laugh at stuff, at things. Like, just laugh at it sometimes, because number one, a lot of the time, there's not anything we can do about certain things. Most things are out of our control, and we make stuff up in our head that make them 10 times worse than they are. Just accept it and laugh at it. Like, don't shame yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. It's like I said, progress, not perfection. Every time, progress, not perfection. Like, think about that. And man, enjoy this short life and laugh a little bit, man. All right. So let's talk about a couple of calls to action here before we wrap up today. And I appreciate you guys tuning in once again. Man, I'm so blessed and grateful to be able to get to do this show every week. And I love hearing from you guys, and I appreciate y'all. And I hope you guys are finding some success in being sober-minded, and all of the things that you do in your own lives out there. So thank you again. A couple actionable takeaways here. Pick a date and keep it simple. Remember I said, don't overwhelm, but pick a date. I'm going to start, tomorrow. I'm going to start Monday. I would recommend just starting when you're listening to this. Hey, I'm starting today. That's it. And put that on your calendar. And if you don't have a calendar, man, I can't tell you how I'm looking right behind me right now. And I have a wall calendar up here because we're doing a thing in the Victory Circle men's community. And you can find that at thatsoberguy.com. It's everyday May. And so it's basically like, it's real simple, 5 minutes of meditation or prayer, some sort of exercise for 30 minutes a day. Obviously no alcohol, 80-20 eating. So trying to eat 80% good, 20% still have the burger, the pizza, whatever, but just, progress, not perfection, right? Trying to do the best we can. And then a hobby. Like I was saying, my hobby has been the range. That's why I've been out a ton and it's been amazing. But whatever that hobby it is, you try to do it, once a week for like 30 minutes. So is it riding a bike? Is it skating? Is it fishing? Like whatever it is that you like to do. But here's where the calendar comes into play. And I've done this so many times before with my workouts, prior to this, but I get a calendar and I set my date, just like I just said, right? Pick a date. Don't be paralyzed by, oh my God, how am I going to start? Just pick a date, lock it in 30 days, write it down, put it on your calendar. And then like, let's say you started on, let's say you're going to start, what are we in May? Let's say you're going to start June 1st. I don't know. I'm just throwing a random date out there because it's the beginning of the month. So you're going to start June 1st, right? Write a big S on each day and post that calendar in your office or right by your bed where you're going to see it every single day. I have a Sharpie right next to mine. So a big S on it for sober, right? Mine says workout. So I just use the W because that's my thing right now. But as you go each day, you're sober, or you get your workout and you're doing it every day, May, you're doing all the things, then you cross that day off. Put a big X on it. And the accountability there, as goofy as it sounds so simple, right? There's something that it does that helps you succeed. It helps you have success. It helps you get the ball rolling. It helps take accountability. It makes it real. So you got to pick a date and you got to write it down. And then build a new routine. Choose one new habit to plug in, like to your life, to your daily routine, where drinking used to be. So whatever that looks like for you, you used to go to the bar on Thursdays for Thirsty Thursdays after, and get a cocktail or some beers. Go do something else that day. Join a jujitsu gym. Challenge yourself. Go to the gym. Go swim. Go bike. Go on a walk. Go play with your kids. Take your wife out on a date on Thursdays. Do something in place of that instead of drinking. And then tracking these 3 metrics, I think, is really important too. Your sleep quality, your energy levels, and your mood. So then after 30 days, you can compare to how it was before. And I think that's, it's really going to be a big game changer when you can go back and see the actual results of that, just like the scale thing. Stepping on the scale, this is the scale of sobriety. You're tracking all that stuff. So this is where guys like you, high performers, leaders, family men, this is where, like they say, that's where the rubber meets the road. It is. This is where we got to show up. We have to stay accountable. We got to do the work. We got to grow together. There's no judgments. There's no BS, just real talk and real progress. Okay. So I want to tell you this. You don't have to do this alone. If you're ready to create a game plan and ditch alcohol altogether, 30, 60, 90 days, maybe you want to do it forever. And you want to see like what your full potential really is, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, professionally. Hit me up anytime. We do coaching. We have our Sober Guy men's community as well. You can find all that. That's the Victory Circle men's community. You can find that at thatsoberguy.com. So I just appreciate you guys tuning in today. I hope you're fired up. I hope this gave you some great actionable takeaways to start doing. We'd love to hear from you as well too. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, feel free to drop us a comment. I always try to respond to those. I love seeing them on there. And I just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again for tuning into That Sober Guy podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend. Take care. God bless. Keep your blood clean.